So our topic today, as you can remember from our thing, is debt psychology, understanding why you overspend. This is a huge topic, my goodness. So we are going to talk about what debt psychology is. We are going to talk about some common triggers for debt overspending, some common things that make us overspend. We are also going to talk about what is the link between debt and mental health. Definitely very important. What is the link between debt and mental health? And then we're also going to talk about what is the role of self-esteem on financial decision making. The way you spend your money is a link to the way you esteem yourself, either high or low. We're going to discuss that. And then I think that will be the last one, will be the benefits of seeking help. I think that's the last one, the benefits of seeking help. So with those things on the way, now let's talk about what is debt psychology. What is debt psychology? And you want to start?
That psychology is how our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors relate to our financial situation, particularly in regards to debt and overspending. So it's more like how you feel, your feelings, your thoughts, and your behavior.
All right. So that is basically it. She said it all. So when you talk about psychology, we are talking about the real thing in psychology is the mind, right? It is talking or discussing issues that affect our expenses and the way we use money based on how we think, how we feel, and how it relates to our overall well-being. So that is debt psychology. All right. So now then we will move forward and talk about some of the triggers for overspending. What are some of the triggers for overspending? And the first one we want to talk about is emotional triggers. Some people overspend, and the reason for uh, overspending or getting into debt is emotional. So I will start, and then unless you want to, yeah. So as we think about getting into debt or overspending, what is the emotional component for people to overspend? What makes people overspend? Some people overspend emotionally. I mean, it's triggered by emotions because they want to feel somewhere. There's some emotional vacuum in their life and they want that to be filled. Or they have some kind of a negative situation in their life and they want to occupy or cover up that particular negative situation in their life. And so because of that, shopping or spending becomes a way out of the way that they can end up spending or overspending. You have anything to add there?
Yeah, so the emotions may include what? Loneliness, or being bored, or being anxious, or being stressed. So maybe somebody will go to work, the person is overworked and tired and stressed from whatever had happened at work. The way that they can get over it is to just hit the stores, go shopping, and go spend the money. So emotional triggers. So if you are not able to cope with your stress and your anxiety, your emotions, some people cope with their emotions by using shopping just to cope. So if you have that problem, that's your coping mechanism. If I'm stressed, I'll just go out and shop. And shopping relieves me from my stress, set me free from being stressed or being anxious or being bored. So if that's your coping mechanism, you have to watch out because if you're not careful, you are going to overspend and you're going to be in debt.
My goodness, my goodness, my goodness. That is definitely very true. So, emotional triggers, because of the way you feel, you decide to fill that vacuum or meet that challenge that is emotionally induced with shopping. Unfortunately, what is happening is you are covering up one problem with another, right? Robbing Peter to pay Paul. Shopping will make you feel good, but then you end up overspending and using the money that you don't have. that leads to additional problems and debt overall. Another emotional trigger may be anxiety. I don't know if you mentioned anxiety. You mentioned loneliness, right? And to be honest with you, this I've seen it myself too. When I was alone without a wife, you know what I'm saying? without a wife, I tended to shop a lot, because you are alone. You are alone, and you don't have anything to entertain you. Not that wives are only entertaining, but you don't have anybody to talk to. So if you hit the shop and you buy, those of us, whether it's a vehicle, a car, or you go for window shopping and you end up being tricked to buying. So loneliness definitely brings emotional trigger. It's an emotional trigger to shopping and overspending. Anxiety also, if you are anxious in life, as a means of covering up that anxiety, you may end up spending what you don't have, and so you overspend. The other thing, I think you mentioned stress. I don't know if you did.
Yeah.
Stress also, and then boredom, being bored. Some people cannot stand being bored. I know my son cannot. And he will be doing his homework and he'll be done, and then daddy, I'm bored, because he wants to always be playing. Now, it plays in our lives as adults too. You cannot be still. You got to be doing something all the time because you feel bored. And then if you stick or use shopping as a means to cover up your being bored, your boredom, then it leads to overspending. So emotional triggers are a huge thing for people who are in serious debt, because they are trying to fulfill or meet some kind of a need that cannot be satisfied in their lives. So they use shopping as a way to get rid of that particular emotional need that they have. All right. So we can go to the next one, unless you want to add it. All right. So the next one, as a common trigger for overspending, is lack of financial education. Lack of financial education. I don't know if you want to start with that, but you want to
Yeah,
start?
go ahead.
Yeah. So many people don't have financial education, and so they don't know anything to do about how to manage finances. And so if they see something in their account, for them it is ready to be spent. That's why it's in the account, right? It only came because it has to be spent. So lack of financial education will make you spend what you don't have. So emotionally, it's a common trigger for overspending, lack of financial education. You want to add anything?
Financial education, that's huge.
That's huge.
So, like, if you lack this education, it's likely that you don't know how money works. You are not aware of how money works. You underestimate the expenses because you don't really know much about, maybe you may not for having lack of financial education, you may not even know much about budgeting. You don't know how much money is coming in and how much money is going out. So because you lack this education, it's likely that you are just going to go to store and whatever entices you, you spend money on, because you are not aware of the money that is coming in and the money that is going out. Because in your mind, there is money in the account,
There's
like
money.
you said. So maybe the big things that you think about is your rent, your mortgage. So you feel like, oh, if I pay my mortgage, it's likely I'll have enough. Forgetting about your gas, forgetting about expenses, forgetting about maybe unexpected thing that may happen, impromptu cases that may happen. Something may happen to your car, something may go wrong in your house. You don't have any idea of all that. All that you know is, oh, I got paid today. And you just start spending money.
You got paid, the money's there.
Yeah, the
Why don't
money
you
is there.
spend?
Why don't I go and spend it? Because of the lack of education. So if you know much about, maybe you have a budget that this month I have only, after my expenses, I have only $300 left. Because you are aware of what is left after your expenses, you know that you don't have a lot to overspend. Then you are very cautious on what you spend your money on. So lack of financial education may cause somebody to overspend big time.
My goodness, my goodness, my goodness. Lack of financial education. But it also leads to wrong financial decision making. If you don't have financial education, if you are not well vexed in the things of finance, you make the wrong decisions in life. You are always making decisions that you regret later on. You decide to buy a vehicle when you could have, not bought a new vehicle. You could have waited. But if you are not educated in finances, if you are not sound with financial education, you make such expenditures that make you in debt. That sends you into debt.
If you go to the stores and they entice you that, oh, sign up for credit card, because of lack of financial education, it's likely that you are going to sign up, forgetting about the rates, the interest rate. But if you know the details, the little bit, how much the money will accumulate over a period of time, because you are learned, because you are aware of whatever they are presenting to you, you can easily say no. But if you lack that education, it's likely that you are going to fall for it,
You're
and
gonna
you are
fall
going to
for it.
spend more than what you have.
All right, all right, all right. So definitely have financial education. Now let's move on to the next one. So we are now treating or talking about some of the common triggers for overspending. So the next one is social pressures. And this one, Gifty have some ideas that make me laugh. Man, it is good. Yeah, social pressures, social pressures. I don't know how many of you have watched a series on TV that is called The Joneses, right? So we're going to talk about what it means. I mean, I'm pretty sure you probably have heard it, but social pressures into overspending. And unless you want to start, I can start. All right, so I'll start. So basically, social pressures mean we talk about when we are talking to our kids and stuff. We say don't do what we call it. Don't be influenced by your
Peer
friends.
pressure.
Peer pressure is the word. Don't be influenced by your peers because of what they are doing and stuff like that.
Everybody's doing it.
Everybody's doing it, so you're gonna do it. This is the adult form of peer pressure right here. Social pressures. You commit yourself to a particular social group which basically flies with some kind of an economic stature. So this group you belong to are all say professionals who make some amount of money. It may not be professionals, maybe even regular job, but your friends and your neighbors and everybody drives some kind of a car. So you want to drive a similar car. At least if my neighbors have Beamers, maybe at least I should go something close to it, if not a Beamer. Maybe if I don't have a Beamer, I'll get a Mercedes. So you try and stay at par with your neighbors, with your peers. Basically, that is what we mean by social pressure, and that leads to overspending because, for all you know, you may not need it. The fact that your neighbor or your friend, your colleague at work drives some kind of car does not mean you got to drive a similar car. As a matter of fact, sometimes they should tell you that you shouldn't because they should tell you how much they're paying if they are honest to do that. But that is a key thing where people fall victims. They spend because somebody else they know is spending. They are buying that particular utility vehicle. They are buying that particular house. You could live in a 2-bedroom house or apartment, but because your peers have bought, they got a 4-bedroom house, you go and buy a 4-bedroom only because you want to be in the social, same social stature. So that is huge. And I'll leave Gifted to say something to that and bring out what the Joneses would say.
Yeah, so it's also means keeping up with the Joneses. You look across your aisle, you see that everybody, like you said, is driving this expensive car. For all that you know, the car that they are driving, they did not really use their money to buy. Maybe they are car dealers.
My goodness.
And they are just changing cars. If you want to keep up, then you have to also change your car every year or every 2
They got to
years.
keep up with the Joneses, man.
You don't want to keep up with the Joneses. You have to live within your means. We also go to church, right? Almost every Sunday, you want to wear something new because
different.
you're competing. You are keeping up, and you are going to spend money that you do not have. If somebody is doing this, you have to cut your coat according to your cloth. if you don't have enough, you don't have to show off to anybody. It's better to be financially stable than to look rich and be broke. Somebody asked
My
this
goodness.
question and said,
My goodness.
do
Look
you want
rich
to
and be
look
broke.
rich or you want to be rich? I want to be rich. I don't want to look rich because I'm not showing off to anybody. If you show off and you come home and creditors are coming after you, you are the only one suffering, right? So you have to spend according to what you are getting. Somebody said that if you are going to fly and you can purchase the first class ticket, it's okay. At the end of the day, you are going to get to your destination.
Same time.
Yeah. So if somebody is in the first class and if you can afford it, that's fine. But if you cannot afford it, for all that you know, the person is on business trip and the business is spending that money for them. So why are you worried that you cannot afford that? So don't put pressure on yourself. Don't be anxious because other people are doing certain things. If you cannot afford it, you just do what you can afford so that you don't end up overspending, spending money that you do not have. So don't keep up with the Joneses. They are
My
broke.
goodness. My
For
goodness.
all that you know,
My
they are broke
goodness.
just like you.
My goodness.
So don't put yourself in that situation.
And even if they are not broke, like you said, cut your coat according to
Your
your
size.
size. If you don't have that money and they have saved that money somewhere and they bought that thing that they have, whether it's a home, whether it's a dress, whether it's a car, whether it's whatever it is that they have, you don't necessarily have to keep up with them. You don't necessarily have to keep up with them. You keep up with yourself and be grateful for what you have. Now, if you do that, you are going to be more comfortable rather than to say that, hey, I got all these neighbors I have. Everybody drives this, so I got to. I actually downgraded my car after my neighbors moved in the neighborhood. Yeah, right. I was driving a Beamer when they drove. They came. Not many were driving any such expensive cars. I'm like, why am I doing this? I traded my Beamer back down. So definitely do not keep up with any Joneses in your life. My goodness. Your Joneses may be like she said, a church, you go to, or your work, your place of work, the way people are showing off and doing stuff. Joneses may be your friends, especially the women do that. Not that, gifting is not one of them, but the women usually do that. You see this friend of mine, the husband bought this for them. Well, the husband bought it for them. They didn't tell you how they got that money to
Yep.
buy that thing for them. So don't put undue pressures on the
Yes.
husband. Oh my goodness, husbands on the
That's
line.
right.
Come on, put on something on the comment section. Don't put an undue pressure on your hubby just because your friend's husband bought a car for them on their birthday. You know how long it took them to save that money up, and you say, I'm going to do the same thing, and you go and you lease, or you finance, and you stuck with huge sums of money to pay those car payments that you had not planned for, all because the Joneses bought a car for their wives.
And with the young ones, when they are going to get married, they set the standard to the point that they cannot afford it. But they just want to let people know that they
Wedding.
are also having this special wedding and they are ready to spend 50,000, 100,000. For what?
For what?
For what?
For 2
Just to
hours and
keep
it's
up
over.
with the Joneses?
Just to keep up with the Joneses. The previous wedding, they want to beat down the previous wedding in the church. They want to show everybody that they saved up for their wedding. And then after the wedding is over, that is when you see problems coming down. If you had taken time to do what you got to do, you would find out that it wasn't even necessary for you to do that.
Yeah.
Because what matters is the life you live itself and the comfort you have with your life that you live. Because if you don't have comfortable life, trust me, you are going to be miserable. And many people end up in the life what that beats them down because of the social pressures that we are talking about. So don't overspend because of the Joneses. The Joneses in your life, whether at work, church, your work, wherever it is, your neighbors,
Old students
your old students
association.
associations, they show off all
Alma
their,
mater.
I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and then you begin to mount up pressure and do what you cannot afford. That is not something we encourage. All right. So, in the interest of time, let's move on. What is the next one that causes overspending? The next one is advertising and marketing. That is huge. You want to
That's
start with that
huge.
too?
That's huge. So sometimes I work in a retail, so I see this a lot. Like you finish one season and before you realize the whole store has changed to the coming season. So like Christmas just passed, right? After Christmas, the Valentine's Day, the whole store was changed to Valentine's Day. Then we have Easter coming. Then after Easter, we have St. Patrick's Day, and we have this. So almost every time the wherever we shop, they entice us with things, the things that we may not even need, but it's out there. And they are flashing it in our face. Come buy it. You may need that. You may need that. We don't need all that they are showing. It doesn't mean that every season we have to change our jackets. The jackets that we bought last year for winter is still usable. Why do you go and spend? Because it's on sale. So they advertise things almost season after season after season. Those of us in the United States, so the season changes. So if you are not careful, every season there is something to buy. Every occasion there is something to buy. If you go back to your closet, you forget even things that you've bought for the previous season. For all that you went through summer last year. So it's likely that you have summer clothes. It's likely that you have winter clothes. Why do you want to replace everything? Because they are advertising it. They are promoting the sales, 25% off, 50% off. So a lot of advertisement out there. You have to know your budget. You have to be financially educated so that you know what you want and what you need. If you don't need it, you don't want it.
If you don't need it, you don't want it, and you don't get it, right?
You don't get it.
You don't get it.
Yes.
Good, 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 good. That is huge. Now, I will also add a little bit to it, and we're saying advertise. These days, the advertisements, they are so cool. And the marketing people have a way of getting you to think that if you don't get it now, you are never going to get it.
Again.
Man, what talk about buy one, get one off. Honey, you think this is buy one, get one whole one off.
And sometimes one free.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Buy one, get one free. Yes,
Okay.
that's what I meant. And then buy one, get half
off.
off. They call it BOGO 50. When I see it on my text message, some of the stores we shop, when I see it on my, my cell phone, you sometimes, hey, let me go check this out. These suits is buy one, get one free or buy one, get one off. And they make it so it BOGO 50. My goodness. So if you are not grounded with the budget, if you are not somebody who can say no, then you are going to overspend because the advertising and the marketing strategies they are using, it's so catchy. And when they show it on TV, oh man, they will make you feel like you really need this. Sometimes they will say that, as much of what I've seen some commercials that say that we actually going to give you for you to try it for free. Just pay us free shipping. Just pay us the shipping and handling. My goodness, who doesn't want that? Just pay us the shipping and handling, and we are going to send one for you to try it for free. If you don't want it, just send it back. Money back guaranteed. And they trap you. And before you know, you are buying stuff that you don't need. So you definitely have to make sure that you are not, limiting yourself or compounding debt. Compounding debt just because of all those advertising and the marketing strategies that people use. You got to have a sense of direction, for you to be able to decipher what you actually should follow through. If it is sales that is going on and you don't need anything, forget it. It is still going to chew up your money or your credit card, whatever it is you're going to use to buy. So if I don't need it, you can give me to me for free. Not get one free, because if I'm getting one, I'm still spending, right? But if you are saying that get it for free, no shipping and handling, then I'll get it.
Really
right?
free.
Then it's really free. But as I was told, as soon as I got here, that in the US, there ain't nothing for free. Nothing is for free in the United States. And I'm pretty sure it's everywhere because somebody used their money to produce it. You think they're going to give it to you for free? No, they got to at least make up their cost. And if you are not going to need to use that thing, just forget it and let it pass. All right, ladies, let it pass. This is where the ladies are tempted.
Yeah, and sometimes too, they make you feel like um you that's is it. If you miss the sale, that's it.
It's not going to happen
It's
again.
not true.
Yes.
The sales will keep coming. So if you don't have the money and you are budgeting and you know that you are going to have it next month or in 2 months' time, don't force yourself to put it on a credit card. The credit card is going to, the interest rate is going to come in. And you are going to spend more money. If you had waited, maybe you would have spent only $200. But because you put it on the credit card, the interest rate has made you buy it for what? $250 because you couldn't wait.
My goodness.
So don't fall for this advertisement and the sales and this is on sale. Otherwise, you will continue to remain in debt. You will never come out of debt because the sales are not going to stop.
They're not
They will
going to
keep
stop.
coming. Every season, every time, there will be sales going on. So don't fall for the idea that if I miss this sale, that it's it for me.
No, the sales never end.
Yeah.
If you miss it this Christmas, if next Christmas you need it, just wait till next Christmas. You buy it
You
that
buy
time.
it.
Because trust me, Black Friday is good. There's always going to be a Black Friday. In fact, they are even making it more now. Now we have what? Cyber Monday,
Cyber Monday
and all those
online.
things. So if you don't need it, don't buy it now. Make sure you save up for it before you do it. Now let's see what else, unless you still have anything to add. All right. So those are the triggers. Oh, there's one last one. And that one is also huge. Using credit card, pain of payment. My goodness, that's a huge trigger. And honey, I've felt that before. You know what I'm saying? Got to be honest. I've gone through this trap before, and I'm pretty sure you have too.
Yes.
So let's explain that. What does that mean?
Using credit cards. So like if you go to bank, and you withdraw $500. If you look at that $500, it looks like a lot of money. So when you are going shopping using cash to pay, you know that you have only $500 to spend. And sometimes even giving it away, it hurt a little bit, But if your money is on the plastic and you are spending, sometimes you don't even check the total. You just sign and just think that it's just on the card. You just swipe it. You don't really feel the pain. So because you don't feel the pain, using it is no problem, because you can just overspend. If in my account, I have only $200 and the credit card has $5,000 for me to use. If I use my account, I can afford it. So I'll be very careful in what I'm buying. But if it's on the card, I don't feel the pain because I don't see the money. I just swipe it. So this has made people fall into this debt because they don't feel like it's money. End of the day, you are going to use your money to pay it off.
It's still money.
It's still money. So if you see it this way, you'll be careful in how much you spend.
My goodness, my goodness. That's the pain. So we avoid the pain by using credit card. You think that, as far as I'm swiping, I am good. Why should I bother so much about this? After all, it's a card. You know what I'm saying? Let me just swipe this thing and I'm good. You swipe it and you don't feel the pain. Like Gifty said, if you had drawn cash from the bank and then when you drew it from your ATM machine, it gave you the receipt of your how much money is left in the account, and you went out to shop because it's the cash. Some of the things you will not buy because you feel the pain. That's what we are getting at here. You feel the pain because it will prevent you from doing unnecessary shopping. But because we don't want to feel the pain, we go with a credit card. And because we are doing with a credit card, we end up buying more than we need. As a matter of fact, we buy what we don't need and we end up being in debt. And that is a serious thing. We end up being in debt because we avoid the pain of paying with cash or check for that matter. And we use the credit card, which suits us, makes us think that, the money is not going to go from my account. I'll pay it later. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going to take my time and pay it off. Even if I take 6 months to pay, I won't feel it. Well, you are still going to be paying interest and it's still going to stretch your budget. And hey, newsflash, it's still going to come out from that bank account. It's going to come from that account. and you don't want that to happen to you. So the pain of using cash has made people stick to credit cards, and we are getting more debt. So if you want to avoid some of the common triggers, next time you go out to shop, take some cash
Wow.
and see how much you will spend. Take some cash.
Now you'd be too restricted.
You'll be restricted. You know what I'm saying? You'll be restricted. The last thing that we're going to talk about is, having known all this, what are some of the benefits of seeking professional help? We need to seek professional help, because without professional help, some of these things can continue to go on, and we can be in trouble. In fact, worse trouble. So the first thing is to seek financial counseling. If you are going through any debt issues, some of the things we said in our last video, you have tried it before, it didn't work out. You've actually gone through debt consolidation, and you are back to square one. You are still owing a lot. You've probably done other things. The debt roll-up method, you've tried it, it didn't work out. You tried the avalanche method, it didn't work out. You tried everything under the sun, it's still not working out. This is the time for you to see a financial counselor, somebody that will be able professionally to help you overcome your debt. The other one that we want to talk about is also to seek mental health. Most people have underlying mental health issues, but there seems to be some kind of a taboo around mental health, stigma around it. And so people don't want to admit that they are in depression. But if you watch this carefully and you listen to some of the things we said, you can tell if there's something going on. Having mental health disease doesn't make you any less human than anybody is. If somebody has the flu, it doesn't make them any less human. If somebody has Alzheimer's, it doesn't make them any less human. Disease is disease. And so make sure that you are evaluated for your mental health status, just to see what you can benefit. Because this is nothing like spiritual or anything. There are medications that you can take that will improve your outlook on life, make you feel joy, make you feel happy, make you love your life, make you be, overcome depression and all those anxiety that you go through all the time. And all it takes is to start by seeing someone with a mental health profession. You can talk to your own doctor. They can refer you to a psychiatrist or psychologist, depending on where they think you'll fit. And you can have a very good mental health evaluation and medications if necessary, and your life can turn around. You can overcome debt that way. So that is one thing that I want to add.
And also I'll add that a lot of marriages are in trouble because of financial problems and financial issues. So if you feel like your husband spent too much money, or your wife is spending too much of your money, sometimes it can break up a marriage.
My goodness.
If you are not able to manage your finances well. A lot of issue. I keep hearing that most of marriages are breaking apart because of a lack of financial education, or one party will understand that one party is more like a saver and the other is a spender. Between you and I, who is the spender and who is the saver? I'm not sure.
Well, that's for another saver.
So if you feel like you are having problems, like we are saying, you can find a financial advisor, somebody that can counsel you, bring you to a point that there is understanding and you are able to manage your debts and manage your finances. If you feel like one party need help mentally, there is help out there. We can all seek help together, and together we can get over debt and be financially independent and free.
Independent. My goodness. This is, I'm telling you, this is a show that I actually enjoy. And we want to say that if you watched it all the way to the end, thank you. Make sure you share it to other people, because this may be a life-saving knowledge for somebody. Because we hear people commit suicide because of debt, but they don't know why. And we don't know why. People around don't know why. So share this. Don't let somebody, go through something alone and end up in a very dire situation. So we're going to end here today. And from the audience, we say, beloved, We wish above all things that you prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospers. God bless you and thanks
Thank
for
you for
watching.
watching.